Welcome to another Deck of Ashes video, and today's a great one. A new feature has been added by developer AYGames, and it's probably the best change they've made since I've started playing. But before we get into that, if you're new to Let's Play with Ndonosci, and you like what you see, consider subscribing so you can stay up to date on all our videos, and don't forget to stay tuned for a bonus tip at the end of the video. So what's new? It's the dungeon. According to the developer, you can descend into the dungeons by reaching a new tile. Now the game-changing part? Once you enter the dungeon, the boss bar at the top will stop, and you can freely explore the dungeon. When you complete or exit the dungeon, the boss bar will resume its progress. That's right, you can reap all of the rewards of map play without that pesky boss timer counting down. I was so excited to try this new feature with Lucia that I made a beeline straight for the dungeon icon as soon as I noticed it on the map, and in every way it made even the first chapter more exciting. But before I tell you what I found inside, I'll tell you that my bonus tip at the end made beating the first dungeon possible. So, what do you notice when you enter the first dungeon? Well, really not much. In fact, I was deceived into believing this new feature was underwhelming at best. There were a few empty spaces with some battles to fight or events to take part in, and I didn't immediately realize that most of the dungeon was hidden from view. As I proceeded to move around the dungeon map, I discovered that I was unlocking pieces to a much larger puzzle. What did that puzzle have to offer? First, battles, then ailments, then treasures, resources, and an epic boss fight, which we'll get into in a moment. I won't spend much time on the battles, they're pretty standard fare, but I will talk about its added difficulty created by events which set ailments into my deck. Every ailment added was each battle being made more difficult. More than once I wanted to turn around to deal with the ailments, but I decided to press on, and I was rewarded more than I even hoped for. Well, before dungeons, the resources which could produce your precious character upgrades seemed so elusive. They were found in absolute abundance in the dungeon. Each time I saw one, I got excited, and I couldn't wait to take them back to camp and unlock new character traits. It was in pursuit of this that I found the dreaded dungeon boss. The dungeon boss was a tough fight. You'll want to be prepared for it. Fortunately, along the way, the enemies I fought dropped ash and keys aplenty, enough to open the many treasure chests that littered the dungeon and craft the recipes found inside. I entered ready for the fight, and boy did I get one. I was able to defeat it though, even with the added ailments to my deck, and when I did, it allowed me to unlock the secret boss chest, which amazingly allowed me to choose one of 4 epic cards that I could then craft for 60 ash. These epic rarity cards were amazing and are designed to be the true prize of the dungeons. By the end, I had a very satisfying journey. Now I was ready to finish the rest of the map and end the chapter with far more power and ability than I had ever done before. And do you know what? Dungeons get even better starting from Act 2, where you can also choose to enter a normal or heroic dungeon. Heroic dungeons have even harder enemies, but they also give you double rewards, and you'll find 2 chests instead of 1 after beating the Dungeon Lord. This means 2 epics per dungeon. Now, are you ready for the bonus tip I mentioned? If you've watched our burn deck strategy video, which you can find by clicking on the icon in the upper right corner, then you know the synergy of the burn deck can really help you succeed. But while burns are plentiful and quick, pyro bombs are slow yet satisfying. Once applied, after a few turns of small damage, it explodes for massive damage, which means pyro bombs are a game of patience. And because pyro bombs are typically applied only 1 at a time, it can feel even slower. Fortunately, they come with additional effects, but not all effects are created equal. Because you need to self-sustain while you wait for this strategy to pay off, look for Healing Pyro Bomb and get as many of this card as possible. This card not only applies a Pyro Bomb to the enemy, but it also applies regeneration to you, and you'll heal every turn that the Pyro Bomb is active. Now let me know in the comments if you want me to do a full video about a Pyro Bomb strategy. Until then, I'll leave you watching my fight with the Dungeon Lord to show you what you might find yourself up against. I'm Ndonosci, and as always, have fun!